So they were physically like using a broom to hit the child. But then when I would leave, they're quiet. Assalamu alaikum. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Farida and I'm so happy to have you here today. This video is going to be talking about my experience with motherhood, the expectations versus reality, and some of the stuff that I've experienced as a new mom who's transitioned from living in the United States to living in Niger. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I was someone who's always really valued family morals and the environment that I'm in, especially with children. So when I had my son, I all of a sudden didn't want to live in the United States anymore. I wanted a different environment for my son. For those of you who's been living in the United States and you've been outside of the country, you know that the ideology and morals and society of the United States is completely different than that of the outside world. That has really pushed me to want to be somewhere else besides the United States. It's just a great place to be, I believe, for school, but for family life, just because of the difference, not even religious wise, but if you have different family morals and different ideologies, and you're really traditional to the core, I think that there are some elements that you might miss that the different communities in the United States, the society that's emerging, the new society that's emerging in the United States will just not fill or fulfill those needs. But we've made the switch because of a lot of different reasons. And I would say for now, we're really happy about it. But there are some expectations versus reality that really hits you. For instance, there are daycares, but it's not really common because usually that is offset to family, or sometimes you have a nanny come into your home and stay with you and assist you with taking care of your child. And so for me, I have family in Niamey because I'm in the capital, Niamey. I have family in Niamey, but they're not so close to us. And at the time when I was transitioning from living in the United States to living in Niger, I've been at home for most of the time because I've been taking courses online and I've been also working online virtually. And so I'm able to stay home. So I didn't see the need to like take my child outside of the home for care. So I thought it was best for us. We decided that it was best for us to have a nanny come and stay with us, live with us, and take care of our child. And boy, was the unexpected what happened. And so where do I even start to like explain this? I've had quite a few nannies stay with us because, so how you find nannies is basically you offset it to different agents that are in contact with these nannies who are looking for work, and they will match you, and the nanny will start coming to your home, and they live with you and they stay with you until the day that they decide, okay, they want a life change, and they just go on with their life. And usually they kind of integrate and become part of your family because they're taking care of your child, right? I've had quite a few nannies because, first of all, I was really picky about like making sure that the nanny that I had like the same kind of values that we had, or was speaking the same language that we were speaking at home to our son, because then, you know, everything would kind of go smoothly. And they weren't 24/7 on the clock, you know, they were just there to assist us during the day and play with the kid and stuff like that, because he wasn't of age to go to school yet. And like I mentioned previously, daycares aren't really that popular for children like under 1 year old. And I wanted to be with my kid too for most of the time, especially since I'm home. So it was ideal for us. Now, enough said about that. When I hired a couple of my nannies, well, a backstory before that, we've had a lot of break-ins in our home when we first moved in. So we installed cameras almost everywhere in the house. And thank God right now we're not having any more break-ins or anything like that. You know, knock on every wood, and we don't have that again. But so we have cameras all over the home. And when I've had nannies come in, I've caught them like doing really unmoral things to my child. For instance, one of the nannies, they were folding clothes outside, and so my son started recognizing his stuff, and he wanted to like draw his like one of his shirts and just have it, carry it with him, but she's already folded the clothes, and so she's been like tapping him, like hitting him on his hand, like to make him stop touching the clothes that she's already folded. And I thought, oh, they're just really joking, but she started like hitting him really harder and harder with the intention of inflicting pain. Experience, I started being really careful. We've had to let go of that nanny because their intentions were to seriously like hit the child so that they would stop what they're doing. And so we've gotten a new nanny, and the new nanny, what they did was even worse. So they were physically like using a broom to hit the child, and this is horrible. And of course this is now past. That's why I'm like really able to just sit here and calmly kind of talk about it. If it were when it had happened, I would be really emotional about it. And so they were hitting him with brooms. They were like maltreating him when like giving him baths and stuff like that, and being really abusive. And so that's when we decided, okay, we're no longer going to have nannies come to stay with us, because they were just being really abusive. Like I remember when I would come to the living room, because sometimes I'll have them play in the living room and I'll be in the dining area, like just working on docs. And so I remember when I would have them come in the living room and I'm present, then the child's like, they're super active and playing with the baby. But then when I would leave, they're quiet. They don't talk to him. They don't engage with him. They care less about him. They don't care. They don't care. And so I started being really like vigilant about it, especially with like the new nanny that we've had. When I'm present, or when I come around, or anyone else comes around, he like starts like, wanting to get away from her and go somewhere else. And even if he's with like us and she comes to try to get him, he would refuse to go to her. And I was like, why? Because in the past he didn't used to do that. So I was just curious about the behavior change with him. And so I started being really more careful and looking into that a lot more. And that's when I realized that something was off. And I've caught her on camera like hitting him, elbowing him, literally elbowing him a couple times on video. And so I've contacted the agent this is one of the nannies that was like a lot worse. And I contacted one of the agents that brought me the nanny, and I sent him videos, and he just never said anything. He didn't reply. He didn't care. He didn't even reply. He didn't even care about it. And I was like, oh no, that, they don't care. They don't take responsibility. They just don't care. And I spoke to her about it. And what she told me, she was like, you keep talking to me about me hitting your child and everything when I've only hit your child twice. Or like, you've only confronted me about hitting your child twice. Because that was when I caught her hitting him another time. And then, she was like, no, it was just, play. It wasn't serious. And then this time I caught her hitting him again, and he's crying. And how I caught her was, I was in the bedroom, because we've already had all cameras installed everywhere. And so I was in the bedroom, and I can hear him crying so badly. So I turned on cameras, and I could see what's going on. I turned on like the camera monitor is in my bedroom, and I turn it on, and I can see what's going on. So that's the recording that I had, and I showed her the recording. And she was like, it was only twice. And I was like, wow. So you don't even care about the fact that, it shouldn't even happen even once. You're confronting me now about me making a big deal out of it, and it's only happened like twice. Whereas I could tell it's happened more than twice. It's just that the 2 times I was able to really catch on, but it's happened more than twice. I was sure of it. Like my guts were telling me, I was sure of it. And so I was just like, you know what, you gotta go. And so I've, returned her to the agency, and I talked to them about it. and they just wouldn't do anything about it, and I just left her. And this is where, let me know in the comments below what you would have done. This is where I've had some family members and friends tell me that, especially my friends, some friends were like, oh no, if this was me or if I were present, I'm going to hit her back. Like she's been. And some people have been said, well, I would have taken her to the authorities, and I wouldn't have let her off the hook like that. And for me, I've, and this is one of the differences with the United States and Niger. Like taking someone to the authorities is really different here in Niger than it is in the United States. So in the United States, even though you have people taking care of your child in daycare, there's really less chance of abuse in the daycare. And then the daycare is responsible for your kid, and they own up to like anything that happened. Even if your child has like a diaper rash, they try to prevent those and stuff like that. Like even the minor things compared to like physical abuse. Like I'm not saying diaper rashes are not bad for kids. I'm just like trying to compare like minor things compared to like physically abusing children, right? And so like they own up to even the smallest little things, and they kind of try to make sure that they prevent it or try to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Whereas over here in Niger, the legal system is really not up there anymore, and not up there yet, I would say. And so you kind of have to take matters in your own hands sometimes. I mean, for instance, when we were being robbed and stuff like that and having break-ins and stuff, our security guy was actually involved in it. When we took him to to police station, they tried investigating. Investigation was only about a week. It was really weak investigation. We didn't get any of our valuables back, and they just released him like within 3 days. And he tried even coming back. So you could kind of tell like the justice system is a little bit weaker here, and you don't really get justice even if you take someone to justice. So there was no point in it. But a lot of people have told me they would have done differently. There was no point in us pursuing, because we wouldn't have gotten justice anyways. But a lot of people have told us that they would have done differently, because this just kind of hurts on a personal level. It really does hurt. I'm trying to be calm about it and everything, but it really hurt that time. And so that was part of like the motherhood challenges that I had to navigate. It's almost like you're running away from a different set of issues almost, and like me moving away from the United States because I wanted to have that cultural experience for my child as well, and I wanted to be near family, and then also experiencing this where I think that it would have been really different in the United States. But I am Muslim, and I still do believe that whatever is meant to happen, alhamdulillah. I'm a Muslim, and I do believe that whatever is meant to happen will happen, but we always have the option to pray for better situations to happen to us and to prevent bad things from happening to us. But either ways, it still stings a lot. That's why we've moved away from having nannies to basically right now having families stay over in our guest bedroom, and kind of just assisting a little bit with my son. And with that being said, it has really made me kind of choose differently in my life. And so this is one of those things that you have expectations versus reality when no one talks about these kind of things. I mean, you see them on social media sometimes posted on like the abuse that could happen to your kids, and to be careful and stuff like that. But when it happens to you, it hits differently. Like it hits differently when it starts happening, like when it happens to you, because no one prepares you for that kind of stuff. And this is where I would say, please, 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 regardless of wherever you're living, please be mindful of who you have around your child. Please be mindful of who's helping you take care of your children. Know that person, so you don't end up having a situation where you're basically leaving your children to predators to kind of hurt them and create traumas that would hurt them in the future as well. And I know this is like a sad little ending, but oops. This is a little sad ending, but I wanted to kind of share this information with you guys because I know that most of the time it's almost like, you know, individuals glamorizing motherhood and how they're taking care of their children and stuff like that. Like, for instance, in my previous video I was talking about how, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. Yes, it does, but it takes a good village to raise a child outright, right? And not everyone needs to be part of your village to raise your child. No, you got to be selective. And so right now I would say that, you know, alhamdulillah, everything's going well. And that's in the past, but just be careful out there when you have your kids and you have other individuals around them. I'm not saying that all nannies are bad. Please don't twist this narrative. Like, just try to see it as how I'm presenting it to you guys, because that's how it is. That's my genuine experience. I'm not saying all nannies are bad. I'm not saying that in the future I might not get a nanny, but I'm very, very skeptical about being able to get a nanny, regardless of what role I have right now. I'm just gonna stick with family. Even family, I'm really selective. Like I said, like this could be a nanny. You know, there are great nannies out there who really genuinely love and connect with your family, and they become like family, right? And there are some family members who would do the same and might even do worse than the nanny has done for you. So just be really selective. So far, we're enjoying our stay here. He's doing really good. I'm not going to be showing him a lot in my videos, or maybe try to not even show him at all in my videos, you know, because I don't want to at this moment. Because I don't want to. I want him off social media for now. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've made it to this point in the video, you've watched a lot of rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about, you know, experiences here in Niger, or if you're living in Niger, I would love to hear experiences. Please leave them in the comments, and I'll be reading all the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Assalamu alaikum.